Hey everybody, my name is Maher Daniel, and I will be taking control of this week's XLR8R Podcast.
And we're very happy you are, Maher. It's a great mix. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. The mix starts off with a spoken word bit from a R&B vocalist who I guess we'll let the listeners figure out who that is.
Yeah.
But it's her talking about sort of love and loneliness. Is that a mood you were trying to convey with this mix at all?
Not really. I mean, for me, that vocal stood out. What I did was I basically cut it up from a Anton Zapp record, and it just kind of stood out when I was listening to the record and thought it would be a great intro.
Right.
For the mix. It definitely delegated kind of like the idea of the first two records that I was gonna put on the podcast, and then from there, kind of just I built it on what I was feeling at the time and kind of what the records have been playing out in the clubs, and that's the way really the podcast was built.
Most of the songs are very, they're not minimal, but they're very economical. They convey their feeling without having a lot of excess fat in them. Is that something that you look for in the music that you play? The thing is with the music that I play, it varies because I'm a huge fan of a lot of genres. I love going from, the minimal stuff to, just 4 on the floor, proper dance floor material. It also comes from how I grew up DJing and how I learned how to DJ as an opening artist, learn how to build a mood. So for me, it's like always every single track that I pick or choose really just kind of develops on what's happening within the dance floor or kind of what I'm feeling at the time as well. So it's really just what kind of mood I'm in at the time and what kind of record I feel like playing at that point. You know what I mean? Right, yeah, definitely. Speaking of proper dance floor songs, there is a segment of the mix where the trusty TB303 features pretty heavily. Do you tend to include a lot of acid influenced material in your sets? Is that a favorite sound of yours?
It's not that it's a favorite sound. It's just I love acid just in general, and I think it really drives on the dance floor. The right acid record drives on the dance floor. So those have just been records that I've found and I've been playing out just nonstop, and they do so well on the floor, and it really they're special. I don't play a lot of acid, but when I find the right ones, like those will kind of be staples in like a peak time set, for example, because they really work hard on the dance floor.
Oh yeah.
And at the end of the day, what we're trying to convey as artists is make people happy and dance.
Yeah, definitely. You kind of touched upon this, but you, for a chunk of your career, you were a resident at Stereo, where I guess you opened for a lot of brand name artists. You're a brand name artist as well, of course, now. But did playing there influence your style, do you think? That's a pretty prestigious club to have a residency.
Yeah, it didn't necessarily influence my style, but what it really did teach me was the real art of DJing and the art form behind what it is that we do. With technology today, anybody can pick up a laptop and start DJing. And by growing up and being a resident over there, to maintain that residency, I really had to learn what a proper warm-up set was all about. Building the night and letting the headliner take the limelight and the shine for the night, because he's the one that's getting paid the big bucks. At the end of the day, I was there to set the mood and get things ready for everybody to party and have a good time.
as an influence, as I mentioned, it wasn't really an influence on my sound, but it really opened up my eyes to a lot of different genres and a whole spectrum of dance music, because not every week I'd be playing for the same guy, and sometimes I'd have to just adjust a little bit just to, accommodate what he plays.
Right.
Not that it really changed much of what I play right now or what I played back then, but it was more just to make it more of a comfortable setting and way to set up the artist before he gets on.
Right.
And still doing my own thing.
And I mean, and you learned well, because this set is a real builder, I think.
Yeah.
How did you actually put it together? What was your methodology?
2 turntables, 2 CDJs, and a mixer.
All right.
Yeah, I've recently just been getting back into being in Europe and being in Barcelona. It's been a lot easier for me to buy more records.
Right.
And it's just also playing vinyl. You can find so much music that you won't find digitally, which makes it even that much more special. It took me about 12 or 15 takes, to be honest with you. But it was, it's just, I love the feel and the control of having to play records. It's just, it feels so much better.
Yeah, definitely. What's next on your agenda? Any tours, any big releases coming up soon?
I'll be going down to, I just had a release, which actually I included on the mix, which was Into the Stars. That came out on Number 19 Music, which is Johnny White's and Mitten's label.
Right.
And upcoming releases, I did a record with Lucas Saporito from Audiofly. Got a couple of solo projects that I have to polish up. One's in UET for All Day I Dream. Another couple of things that I haven't signed yet, but just shopping around. And really just focusing on the production and the music. As for tours, at the moment, I'm gonna be in Miami. I'm playing one show, which is the friend of mine's record label party called the Faceless Records.
Right.
So I'm gonna be playing for them. But most of the time, I'm gonna be around with Kenny and Johnny from Art Department, helping them out on the road. I tour manage them throughout the year in Europe. So they asked me if I was down in the city to help them out with a couple of dates, and then I'll be in Panama on the Saturday night where I'm playing a show out there.
Wow.
And then back to Europe.
And then back to Europe, back to sunny Barcelona.
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, it's a great mix, great talking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely, and thank you guys for having me.
Our pleasure. The pleasure is all
ours.